esports, I think it's fair to say they're coming in looking hot, but XLG looking to right the wrongs that have been done to their region. They've sent DRG home, and now, as they said, they look to carry forward their ideas. Do it for the boys they've sent back home. A start here from XLG on the attack side of Haven, and already wasting no time. You heard it from Crystal in the interview. They love to fight, and this time the fights are going XLG's way. Even with Patman finding that, he's so low to 2v1.
Oh, the man of the moment. So many clutches coming through yesterday. Almost an argument to just put him on Killjoy on every single map with what we've seen Crystal do on that specific agent, but this is going to be a tough one. On the other side, Happyway has been unstoppable, but a little bit shaky for both of them in that fight. It will be a pistol round for XLG to start. And something you mentioned, like having to carry on the sort of your I guess the weight of your brother after eliminating them. That was the case for both teams. Both teams had to go through a regional team to get there. So I'm almost looking at this as don't waste it. You had to send someone else home that, well, we talk about those friendships in GE as well, the relation that they have to Full Sense. And now you come in with a different relation of hearing these guys are scrim partners. They play each other a lot, so I want to see one of them maybe have a few extra ideas of how to beat the other, because that's where they will have practiced everything.
Scrim partners, previous teammates, what half of the players in this game used to play together in some form or the other, going across teams. So
that Ascension game had a lot of the players.
So it's definitely somewhere that they're familiar with the bodies on the opposite side of the stage. XLG have the pistol. Ooh, very strong start from Happyway. This little spam through the door and a very awkward fight afterwards. Okay. But the weapons now on everybody else for XLG. We don't expect to see them lose all too much. Nice bait by Patman. Pretends to jump out of the window to draw in the fight. Good flash though. Udaton has his vision back and they're looking to fight this together. Raga has to be careful. Doesn't know there's a player quite as close as he is, and this is getting costly already. Still, the numbers there for XLG. They don't want to lose anybody else, and it's a guessing game as to where Crystal is at this stage of the game.
There'll be a rifle retrieved. The SMGs are not really the worry at this point. And yeah, Crystal, if he can get one, it would be huge, honestly.
30 seconds left.
Just remove some of that additional weaponry. Winning here should be impossible. But damage, not so much, especially if he waits for somebody to go for the plant. I like the check. Oh, no, I don't. I don't like the check. It was half check by Noman, but eventually he will go back. 2-0 for XLG, an important conversion. Now they'll look to build into this map, because I have a feeling the reason that GE might have taken us here was after witnessing their display on this map versus DRG, which I'll be honest was very surprising from my side, because I thought they'd go into that match maybe not heavily favored, but at least like even competing on maps that they feel a little bit less confident on.
Well, yeah, I think we saw it in the rest of the series as well, where it was a much closer affair. But that first map, I started to question everything I knew. XLG, in my mind, they were coming in as favorites. I think they made less mistakes in their opening games, but DRG trashed them. It was 13-4 when it comes to Haven. Already, 2 on the board. It's a strong start. XLG take down Udaton as well. This is not going that poorly till Autumn shows up to the site. A double kill, a triple kill, in fact, before he finally falls. And yet still, we're into a 2v2.
It was the run it back, one of those kills that was traded out, and especially considering some of the weaknesses in play. A plant for long, eventually. I think Leo's letting go a little bit too early, and now he's kind of stuck in a horrible position. They know exactly where he is, and Harvey just patient, now knowing where the last man is standing because of the ping. I'm not sure what went on there from the side of XLG. Maybe trying to bait someone in, but it didn't look like that. You don't normally stick it all the way to the very end and then let go if you're baiting.
No, it's certainly a strange strategy. I don't know what they were expecting to come their way in a round with no ults and limited utility on the other side, but maybe just conscious of a quick re-aggression, some deadlock util, the net, the shocks, who knows? Who knows? Or maybe they just stopped defusing a little bit too early, or stopped planting a little bit too early. Either way, a 2-1 scoreline. Early half goes as it should, but now XLG come in. They put all their credits into this round. This is a full buy for the attack side with very little margin for error, but that can be said on both sides. If we are going to have a lights out start to this half, this will be the round that decides it.
I've seen this flash an awful lot if you watch EMEA. The GX doing it every single round, but gets you that additional little bit of space. Normally we'd come into a game and be highlighting the duelist players, talking about the fiery side of this matchup. But I'll say that the players I want to highlight in this game are all currently playing Sentinel. It was Autumn who will flex later on, and Happy Way that, to be honest, to get them through Split, had to drop 35 kills.
For GE in both games, Crystal has been solid. He's had at least one map where he looks like the best player on the server, and it doesn't even look close. Keep your eyes on him as this game goes on. Patman with the early aggression down C-Long. He's been embedded for quite a while, and he's found himself the pick now. C-Long no longer in the hands of XLG. They look to fight deep towards the spawn, and Rarga's taking a double, but they don't think there's more here. They weren't ready for Heavy! 3 under his belt already, and Leo won't last long. GE looked like they were in trouble there, like they were backed against the wall, but they came out swinging.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Like you see the fight forward from Raga, and they're able to take out both players. They go, okay, well there was no re-swing. I guess Harvey just a little bit further behind on the rotation, but I almost wonder if they think he was baiting at that point just because of the gap that came in, but it worked perfectly. Harvey then still had to hit all of the shots, and that's exactly what he does. Hunter's Fury online. Opponent's economy completely reset. And well, in this round, other than some pistols and a stinger, not much to play with at all.
Yeah, they're going to sit back and wait. XLG thinking maybe there was some A aggression coming up. The smoke down on short, it's going to deny them even if they crossed over having any kind of fight in favor. Move towards the B site, and I think this is a good round for some experimentation. You really have to get an idea of what G are doing with their Sentinel utility when they have so much. But the problem is they have so much, they can just keep changing up those positions. And the main problem will be Crystal. It's a very unusual comp to play against on this map. And those sensors are going to punish No Man every time he wants to dash in to take space if he chooses the wrong side.
Defeated.
Nice shot from Harvey. He's not necessarily been the highlight player individually, but he's had a great start to this game. And mainly that's because they've had so many other highlight players individually.
I got the spike.
Getting through. It's going to be awkward there. You even mentioned it. He tries to go over the utility that was blocking him, walks into more utility. A nasty setup. And for Patman just lurking around the edge of the smoke. They saw, okay, they've got all this utility. At least it's probably clear. And it wasn't. 3-2, a flawless round. And a huge start from GE because they have just built up a hell of a lot of credits after some much closer rounds.
Fair play to Patman there as well. I mean, Lysor ripped his head off with that stinger, or at least his helmet, but manages to find the correction just in time, walks out of there with 3 kills, and although the round probably wouldn't get out of control even if he does lose that fight, it's an extra weapon carried forward and less chances for XLG to do damage. A 2-0 start for that attack side, but XLG now lose the lead. GE seem to have complete control. Credits come back online, big buy coming in, 1 away from a run it back, 1 away from a Hunter's Fury. XLG have no shortage of opportunities in this round, but they're going to go very directly to the B site. No utility waiting for them there, but instead there are bodies, a barricade of bodies, and they're finding nothing but picks. Rarga's taken out of the ult, but he's right in the middle of the open. An easy conversion for Javi. And a 2v5, this buy round, it's going nowhere.
Yeah, I like that now they put the wall down as well.
It's like, almost died to that spam.
Yeah, as if it wasn't problematic enough. The B site, execution not working, and starting to see the same troubles again. A composition, you look at the Jet Phoenix and you go, okay, on the attack, that should be deadly. It should be where you get the majority of your rounds. Right now, they are struggling to not even get rounds, get kills. Happy Way still alive, though.
I know
that's
exactly
why you always be careful picking up against him. Incredible individual ability, but we're asking a lot here.
The ult used, it'll give them indication that they can plant on B, sure. But from here, Happy Way has to have a lot of confidence. Leo's 41 HP. I mean, my guy is in trouble, but he has a Hunter's Fury. Happyway needs to take down some players and buy time, but now the hat comes off the head on the other side, and they know all about this man. It's a bit shaky, and it'll finish that way as well. Patman with a double to put GE on double the rounds of XLG. A pistol gave them a leg up, but they've fallen flat on their face ever since.
Yeah, and I think it is going to be a microscope put onto some of the players in this game, because it's a very weird scenario, because I think that Raga has been someone that you look regionally, he is fantastic. Like, he is someone that always seems to step up. When it gets to the international stage, it's looked very different, to the point where I think a lot of the time, a extra bit of a buffer. But I can definitely understand why the Voya wants to have a little chat with the team. They've already witnessed this get out of control versus their regional rivals in DRG, and I think we put GE on a slightly higher pedestal. Immediate. I was about to say,
Did you not realize?
if he had stuck that would have been one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life, but he didn't. Raga already with the trade though, and actually Happyway's found enough that it starts to get a little dangerous until Yudatan finds a double. Even still, these weaker weapons have put them into a 2v2 again. Patman is already walking behind though. The second they go for the plant, this is a problem. I don't think there's any way that Raga can react to this. And now Happyway's left in an awkward spot once again, blinded up as he tries to retreat. There was no hope.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? The camera timing on short, when it's activated, didn't catch Patman. He got a timing, and the fact that there's a trip behind, but he's an omen. So he can easily just teleport past that. It's exactly what they go for. And GE find themselves wrapping up behind very quickly. Despite that, a small blip on the radar is what cost them the round, but they came in with weaknesses. They had stingers and a bandit, and they made that look really good. If they got the plant in there as well, Raga has the ult and the rifle having been recovered. They can go take short, fight back into the site with ease, go deep into the spawn. There's so many options for them, but GE recovered that nicely. That is good, though, to see a little spark of life from XLG on the low buy rounds. All they have to do is bring that same energy into the full buys.
Yeah, I think my only worry is we have seen a bit of that already with like some of the earlier low buys, that they can do damage. It's just, do they now go back to maybe some of the slower, more default rounds? They need to get rid of some of that utility. And well, Yudatan has at least been caught. I didn't even think he'd get away with one. Unfortunately, that's another sort of cursed moment for WS Leo. He is 1-7, and that Hunter's Fury is not going to play a part in this round.
Well, Raga used his flashes up to get a little bit of control towards Garage, trying to cause problems for that defense, create question marks on the map. And for now, at least, G's response is to play much more passive, cover off these angles. They have to watch the walkthrough in the window. They have to be careful of the wraparound on B. And as a result, whenever the fight comes in, they're not going to be in the best position to do anything about it. You look towards this A site, Autumn is completely isolated. He's got 2 trips though, covering long, and a camera watching for the short walk up. If he gets one and gets out, his job is done, and there's an easy reveal. The second trip, not expected, but Happyway converts, and Lysor's there for another. Now XLG are heating up, and the A site plant is locked in.
They found the weaker site. And well, they know exactly where Crystal is as well. We get to see one of those crazy clutch moments for him so far. And with the amount of credits that they currently have, I wouldn't be mad to see him go for this.
No escape.
His previous team facing off against him, but with no spams being found. In fact, they're only found the other way. Lysor to close things out with a triple. And a 3rd round found for XLG after the pause.
Yeah, great opening pick as well, sending a player up top box and one down a little bit lower makes it almost impossible for an AWP to get a pick and get out of there, regardless of who they're playing. On the Neon even more so, with that little prime time to get ready for the sprint. Yudatan found his pick, but he got punished immediately. XLG get control off of that, then hit a lighter A site and shred every defender that was trying to flood back through. Very nice round from the attack side. And again, just showing us that they can get the work done when it comes to those buy rounds. They don't use everything either, coming through here with a Hunter's Fury. Still that Blade Storm in the back pocket.
I think my only worry so far is that even going into the late round there, not a lot of that utility is being broken. Now, of course, that kind of came through because their Sova got eliminated immediately, so they are going to start doing that and maybe just go for a more direct take. Already destroying what was thrown down by Crystal, but he's still doing a lot to delay them.
The second player further back is Javi. Won't last very long, and Crystal falls after one. XLG, this is something that was mentioned on the desk. Gaps, weaknesses towards this A site. And XLG been running into numbers there, and it doesn't even seem to matter. Definitely feels like the attack have cracked the code to getting the spike planted. And now in the post plant, Hunter's Fury is there, but it's on the site. It's not likely to be used, and they've lost Happy Way. And all coming in on the back lines means they fight forward, and No Man brings the heat for the triple. At this point, the off being saved is probably the best outcome, but he's got to be quick. 30 HP, a stray shot to take him down. Okay, Uniton makes it out, Op is saved, but XLG, they are closing this gap round by round.
Yeah, they're starting to see some of those individuals come online. I think No Man's definitely had some quieter series throughout the tournament so far, but the fact that he's heating up the dash into enemies and managing to get a double kill, it puts them one away from their opponents. And for the defense, they are going to be able to keep that operator in hand and get a rebuy into the next round, but I wonder what is the moment that maybe we see a pause on their side, because if the momentum starts to flip, or more so if they've just found the gap, that weaker side, because even with the Sentinel in play and some clear knowledge that it would be a push into that A site, they definitely suffered. Instead, though, they're just going to stack up that side of the map.
Cover going out.
G are looking for a bit of control early with that operator. The smoke makes it a bit more annoying for them. It still seems like they'll get some control. For XLG, a different approach. A side had been working, GE come up with a solution, and now the other side of the map gets pressured. Let's listen in with XLG on this push.
Kill him backside first. Come backside there.
I know exactly where.
Okay, guys. Guys, I go playing open. Nice, guys. 2v5.
Right.
That be open, come. VCT. They're both B.
Wait, they don't have a small, guys.
I play OT.
Both B players.
I play OT, guys.
I run already.
Go hold it.
等一下，我先
Go
开
hold
大
them. Don't let them save up. You all have up.
No, let me pick for.
Give up play.
Guys, chill,
Saving.
chill.
Saving.
我先开大，
It's okay.
He ran A. 100%.
Well, you might have a couple of picks for Crystal and Uniton in the end, but that only confirms that they saved their rifles for XLG, showing that that A site isn't the only one they know how to get into. A very direct play from them in this round, and it's working. I like the fact that they go for deeper aggression as well, sensing that it wasn't being as well defended. No smokes called in the end, playing post-plant. This is looking like a much more well-rounded XLG attack side.
Yeah, I think especially the fact that they are just now getting more aggressive and challenging for some of those post-plant control. I think when you have a composition like this, if you sit passive, you just don't really have the utility on those duelists to buy additional time. But just being disruptive, and I'm starting to notice that a lot of what G is trying to do on the defense, rather than actually playing into those retakes, which in some of the earlier rounds was actually working for them, they're making hero plays to try and save a teammate that's isolated. Like Patman especially, I think this has been a bit of a flaw at times in his game where he wants to try and win the round and sometimes ends up being the one to throw it away. But it was a gamble to try and make a play to help out his teammate on the site rather than almost lean into some of those retakes.
Yeah, we saw him run out of garage. Who's that? Another direct play from XLG. This time more numbers and utility waiting for them. Hunter's Fury still draws first blood. And Crystal's thinking about emerging from that smoke, but he'll never make it close. Rarka spanned him through. Great flash on backside, and crumbling is the current state of the defensive side. The jump over is even going to be potentially heard, and yes, Happyway did.
Nope, no, he
right?
didn't.
Okay. Oh, either way, he gets it right in the end. The op of Uniton again, should be denied the ability to save. XLG wanted to stop him last time, and a couple of picks later they gave up, but this time the net is already cast so wide. Happyway is sat on the A side. He's about to have a freebie, you have to think. Uniton is clearing it, though.
Fair
and
play.
he hits the shot. All right, fair enough. He's earned that op.
Yeah, he's been trying to be in the right place at the right time over the last couple of rounds, but he's never been in position, and unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time once more. Cleaning up on that XLG side, and I have to say, I'm not sure what was said in the pause, be it to be that little bit more aggressive, be more direct, but Havoya has definitely made a difference, because I think after round 6 he took the pause, round 7 was an eco, and then from then onwards they've won every single round.
Well, one more to play for after a 5-round streak from GE. Their lead has been taken over by XLG, and there's a chance that they could be trailing at the halftime, fighting to be even Stevens. And we move into the next, and that's a little pixel angle for Crystal with huge value. Larga down, and that's one part of their site pushes dealt with, and the other part has an operator yet. Has found the opening. Bladestorm back pocket and Patman down.
Yeah, an immediate response. Jump over the top, but Autumn not able to find anything. Operator going to be swinging in. It's not even needed. They are winning every single battle on the XLG side, and Crystal's ult is available, but it's one that only really works with reduced numbers. He's going to try and throw it in just to clear the backside, but there was nobody there, leaving everybody with knowledge of where he is, and an easy closeout in the end for WS Leo. 7-5 from the position they were at. XLG have climbed right back into this game.
This has been an excellent resurgence from XLG. Like you said, 5 and 2 down. They dug deep. They found solutions across the map. They played a clean game, and individuals are starting to heat up and look confident. It definitely seems like GE could be in danger, and you know what? It is a good day to be an XLG fan, at least here in half number 1. There is plenty more Valorant to come, but you know, speaking about...
Yeah, unfortunately for GE, it does seem like they're a little bit cursed with their map choices. It happened yesterday. They were able to turn the series around, but for their sake, you got to hope that they've come in with a solid attack side. It's been a rough start to the game for Autumn, someone who was lights out in their series yesterday, but there's still a second half to be played. And the defensive side of this comp can be very difficult. Already, Raga caught. The same can be said for Noman, but he had support on the site. Lysor trying to hold the line, but running out of bullets, and well, they didn't have any friends to play with. 2 stand. Can they turn this pistol?
Happyway has been very impressive so far, but Patman's quick to put him in his place, leaving Leo 1 versus 4. You know, that's definitely not in his favor. The deadlock wall certainly doesn't help out. I would say the trip behind, but they certainly already know where he is. That'll be a cleanup for GE and a chance to put things level at 7-7 if they can win the anti-eco.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'll be both teams having a pistol, both teams winning 5 rounds in a row. Talking about them being scrim partners playing against each other regularly, it almost seems like this one's been mapped out, but I also do go in looking at GE on the attack. Like, you kind of expect having that double senti to maybe help you out on the defensive side, but I also do think that a lot of deadlock compositions have potential on the attack, at least to clear angles, make things that little bit more awkward, not leave you with safe space to stand in. So I definitely want to see what ideas they have. It will, however, put a lot of pressure onto Yudotan. Over on that Neon. It's going to have to be that hard entry for the majority of rounds. And at least in this one, a bit of a slower paced default. Of course, maybe even expecting there to be a stack, which there is. Although I will say at the moment, Autumn is walking directly into it. Of course, he's normally a lurk player, so this is kind of what you want from him.
It's a good thing the wall was in the way there.
It didn't look like it was, but you know.
No, it didn't, but pretty sure I saw a man get shot in the head and not go down. Autumn finds himself 1, does some damage, loses a Marshal. It is what it is. If anything, confirmation for the rest of the squad that the C-side is the right way to go. The spike can make it there. He's been sprinting ever since he went down. It's just now making it towards the site. Deep position from Patman. This is a big risk, but he should fly under the radar. You never really expect someone to be embedded in a round like this, and it means plenty of kills coming up for Patman.
Yeah, he also had nothing to lose. I think that's the best thing about it. They kill him, they get a ghost. He's at least delayed them a little bit, and he can give the information over. He even threw down a deeper smoke to go like, okay, yeah, you need to play into this site from here. And instead, he's able to farm them up. 7-7, level once again. And for GE, it's not the greatest of bonus rounds, but Patman getting that many additional kills means he can now invest into a Vandal. They will, of course, be coming up against 5 rifles on the other side, though.
Yeah, but you take a look at what GE have to work with for the next. I mean, the money is stacked very high after a light buy in the previous. Oh, Patman! He might have had a big play in the previous round, but this one amounts to nothing. Great response from Leo. And XLG have the man advantage to work with. Good stun, but there's a second layer to this defense. Rarga was standing by, and that's completely caught Yuditan off guard. Rarga with another, and the Molly buying more time, allowing them to break this wall, or at least have it decently broken. Oh, this is a problem.
They've done so much damage, though. Harvey is desperately low, but even still, the bullet's not connecting. Not able to get the gun, though. And Harvey is just trying to run for the hills. I think realizing that, yeah, you know what, on 4 HP, planting pretty much anywhere on that site would have been an immediate death sentence. I think, though, he was hoping that maybe they rotate away. That's all he really has, is the element of surprise. And if they just wait and play this together on the XLG side,
30 seconds left.
there is no element of surprise, because at some point he has to plant. And it even seems like they're beginning to make the rotation. Maybe he was hoping for a little bit earlier. They are very close by.
Planted.
Yeah, the drone gets around in time, so they're not even worried about the gong. They know exactly where he is. And now, well, now it is exactly pinpoint with a reveal up top. They know he hasn't gone to mid. They got there in time to fill in that space. The dots connected. Javi is going to have a sensational performance, and he almost had a shot fired at each player. Luckily, they didn't land. XLG are back in the lead.
Yeah, not bad for a bonus round, but I also think it wasn't really the weapons that you expected to do the damage in the bonus round. Patman with one of the only rifles fighting alone, and then Yudotan doing the same. It was definitely a bit of a, I guess, disjointed, more surprise factor style round out from GE, which you can kind of expect in those low buys, but now they come in with the full investment. Rarga will, however, have that run it back online. Definitely still yet to see the level we know we can from Rarga on this Phoenix. But with them being in the lead, I don't think it matters so much.
Standing ahead.
With them being in the lead, even without seeing it, exactly. The chance for him to have his moment. Doesn't feel too far away. For GE, it's going to have to be great usage of this double sentinel comp while on the attack. It can be hard at times, but it was certainly a period where the double sentinels looked better on the attack side than on the defense across a lot of the regions. Whether they can make it work is a different story.
Cage triggered.
Autumn's going to be spotted outside of A. They have no notion that no man's in this spot. That cage is going to go down very soon, and he could have himself a freebie. He wasn't peeking.
He's just holding the control. Oh, okay. It was a reaction shot from Autumn. Like, you see the swing come out to maybe try and get an individual fight, and Autumn's managed to get the kill, and we even had our own third-person observer for that one in the form of Harvey. Even still, though, they're walking into what is the Senti setup. The spike on that side and still spread across the map is the rest of GE. A chance to maybe try and respond over the top of this. Plant not coming in just yet, but immediate double kills up for the global esports side. Rarga's ult not likely to do too much in this moment as he was blocked out by all of the utility, and then he's caught in the back by Crystal anyway, who closes it with 3. A flawless round for GE into their attack side buy. And guess what? We're level again.
That was a really nice play by Crystal. He decides to play much further behind the pack, deeper into Garage. And the response a lot of the time from that backside has been to put the paranoia through. Lysor fires the paranoia. I think it catches 2 or 3 players, but it doesn't catch Crystal. So once he goes to TP, the man in Garage has clear sight lines on him, takes him down. And that avoided what could have been a really nice fight back from Lysor up on that plat. Instead, 8-8. XLG challenged and forced down to pistols. This should be Global Esports taking themselves the lead.
Yeah. Well, that's going to help. I was going to say they've always been pretty good in these rounds, but when you have that mid trap and lose a player so early on A, there has to be that little itch scratching your brain that you need to rotate off of this mid control. But now, though, they are sticking around, and There is potential for an isolated fight.
Cage triggered.
Looking at Patman as the one, because he does like, even in low buys, Patman I feel like he likes to make some audacious plays, but for now at least, oh no, they're running back.
Yeah, they've gone to the players on A. A space has been taken there, but the problem is the spike has to make it across already. One pickup for XLG. This early push getting them in a really nice position. Crystal's made it out. Wall behind as well, just to contain. And a 4v3 from this spot doesn't look too bad for GE.
30
We
seconds
got a
left.
bit scary, and Argo will heal up a little bit. Happy Way's managed to find one. Even damage here would be nice, but we're starting to see the step up of Autumn. Okay, Patman. Both of these players are in a bit of a shaky spot, but never mind. Autumn there to save the day. After a very slow start to the game as well, he's now level. And GE find themselves back in the lead again.
Yeah, that's 4-1 in this half for XLG. It was a solid start, as we said, with the 2-0 up on the pistol. But they took a while to get into that first half. 5-round streak from GE that they had to fight back through. Now, GE get another very successful early half. This time, the pistol added to the equation.
Gets caught, you're almost screwed off rip.
Let's see if XLG have
Over there.
figured this one out here on the defense. Flash in the pan, winning the third round, but that's how you expect that early half to go. Anti-eco is all they've got under their belt. An immediate idea from Crystal to pop the ultimate, closing the distance towards this A site. Target selection here, it's going down below. That's a perfect hit. Rarga's gonna be caught. Let's listen into this chaos.
Drop, guys. Kill, can you plant? Get ready.
Get this side.
Kill, get.
Omen TP somewhere.
Kill, can you plant?
Yeah.
Find you, kill.
Miss back. Not for long, guys.
Guys, listen.
Long and short plan.
Guys, I have flash.
I can watch Heaven on camera, okay?
Yeah. I have ulti, guys.
I have Heaven on cam. I have CT also. I have the stun. They're not come out yet. Probably gonna save.
Yeah, they save.
Yeah, go take them.
They had money.
You don't pick, don't pick.
This is kind of exactly what I was talking about, isn't it? They get the opener with that ultimate, they get into the post plant. Now, I will say, this time they actually went into the heavier stack site, but because two players were isolated out and it was only one player in, there was no chance for breaking that ult. I also, there's one small detail that I really like from Crystal, and that is he did not buy a rifle this round. Because I see so many players running in with that deadlock ult, and they just get shot in the face. And so you've just thrown away credits. He goes, I know I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to run straight in. I'm just going to buy a stinger. And then, if I get a guy, I can take his gun. It's given them a little economic boost. It's given them an opener. And well, they're going to try and take the guns away. And there is Crystal with that rifle, who's going to manage to take down No Man with the AWP.
It's funny saying the guy's in the middle of the board right now, Crystal, but his impact in every map is tangible, and then sometimes he just pops up with like a close to a 30 bomb. Like,
yeah.
This is such a valuable player to have. Thinking back to yesterday, it was the Pearl up against Full Sense, right, where he managed to flank like 4 players in one round. This guy has been a menace.
Well, it's funny as well, because for him, this game is personal. When he was on XLG, of course, in the tier 2, the import rule is 2. When you get to tier 1, it goes down to 1. And that meant they had to make a choice between him and Raga.
I must wait a moment.
They chose Raga. So now he has the chance to send them packing himself, send the players, send the org that didn't decide to keep him, and what Happy Way under serious pressure here, but he is going to survive.
One of the 2 rifles for XLG, but they've pushed him off the site. He'll be ready for the retake, although sporting a few scars from that earlier battle. And here we go. Wall broken. Drone going in. Flank going to be attempted as well by No Man. Updraft used already to get over the trip. This is dangerous. Everybody from G is focused on the site. They have no idea that No Man's here. He updrafted just as they stepped out of range. But now there's a smoke down on long. He can't fight through that, and so the fight on backside is... It's completely easy for GE. Everything going their way until it's down to just No Man. And Crystal bails them out again. 40 HP in it. That flank had the potential to change the game, but they got just enough done before he arrived.
Give me the crystal replay right now. Give me what he was doing in that moment. Oh, if I saw that across the stage, I'd be so mad. I do like the adaptation from GI. I think they started to realize that they were completely trapped. Thank you for that replay. My man is having a great time and climbing up that board. 11-8. This attack side has started to run away like the first half, but it hasn't stopped. That's the difference. And while being their map choice, expectation was that it would go in the direction of GE, but it didn't look that way. Okay, TP from Patman caught. Braga's gonna immediately just send his ult through, caught by the stun.
Nice.
Made sure that didn't go any further.
Again, it feels like every round Crystal has that high impact. Lysor, what a shot! And he almost corrected as well.
Exactly where you
GE find themselves a man down, facing into the operator. It's only going to get worse, and now Blade Storm's activated. No man is not losing this round. Not if he has anything to say about it. Leo, it's easy, as can be.
Spike down
37 health on Javi. Managed to avoid the spray from Leo, but the shot from No Man's a different story. 11 for GE, but now 9 for XLG. The gap is closing slowly.
Yeah, not too far behind, and a faster pace attempt in that round initially from GE. It felt like when that didn't go to plan, the backup plan was just to try and retreat back into the B site, and it looked like XLG from start to finish were well aware, especially after the run it back. Even if you get caught, you cleared out a lot of that space. The operator of No Man finally able to find a couple of targets as well. And again, we're going to see that pressure put towards C from them. They're going to know early that it isn't this side of the map. It's just how early do G decide to go the other way? Or are they going to walk back into this operator?
right here.
Thankfully, I don't think anyone's rounding that corner before the drone clears it. And the op shot fired gives the game away. 2 players spotted. XLG know. Actually 3. They know that Sova was close as well, but they're not ready for Uniton to just walk in.
What?
I'm so perplexed. They had so much information. They saw him step forward when last they looked, and moments later, they're blindsided by a man that told them he was coming. Good stun too. Lysor dodges it, and well,
There was no follow-up.
I'm not sure what the idea was there, but well, styling on him hasn't worked out. The flank has though.
Yeah, no, a great round from Uniton. I will say, the fact that it seemed like he also knew 2 players were there and just went for it. There was no teammate anywhere even remotely close. That was just it. Like, look at the map. It's mental that he just went, all right, I'm just going to win this round for the
Also knew
team.
there was an op there. Like, that is I completely agree. A crazy repeat to go for.
That is literally a man who doesn't give a damn. Like, that is what I've just witnessed. And, well, you know, he's having a good laugh about it because he has just won them the round. That's got to be infuriating as well for XLG. You have the right setup to stop him, and you just get wrecked.
Oh, there's no table strong enough to survive the bash that it's getting after that one. For XLG. Oh, no, the barrel pointing through for Autumn. He's been sold down the river, and that's at least going to be the man advantage for XLG in a crucial round. Ult used by GE. They get space, they find the C site, but XLG are waiting as well. They still have a camera for when they go for the retake. What they won't have is Rarga.
Eventually. Happyway's not in a bad position, but it definitely seems like they know there could be a player here. Even still, though, Leo's done well. Trade back as well, putting it into a more advantageous position. A singular kill will get Harvey his ult, but they are being flanked again. Of course, all of that side utility is gone. Wow. Well, so is Uniton as well. Harvey needs a clutch for the ages, but he's already managed to. He's being revealed and flanked, but the fight in front's a little bit ahead. Also gets the last, but finally No Man strikes from the back. That 1v4 shouldn't have even been close. Well, you know, he makes it look pretty good.
This time the flank from No Man works out. Thankfully, he didn't have 2 targets to deal with. 12 to 10 and 2 chances. Again, though, with how this started for XLG, I love the setup they went for. Happyway's so smart to just tuck in. Here's some utility being placed, but doesn't jump the gun, waits for his teammate to take a fight, and then he's there to catch the player who's trying to trade. onto his buddy. Very nicely done.
I love the change in emotions immediately. It was very close.
It was.
Very close from Harvey, but they are, again, it is only down to 2 rounds. This half especially has felt very good.
Outlaw. Look at the outlaw buy from Uniton. It's nasty. He's just been wall banged through that wall on long down to 55, but he's going to be able to one-shot hit anybody except for Lysor.
And Happyway has no shields. So I guess clearly the credits on the other side of it have really been brought low just by the amount of damage that was done by Harvey in the last round. Even still, though, G set up with multiple ultimates. But they're just waiting. Especially with this double duelist, you expect aggression. You expect someone eventually to have to go looking for information. Come on, there it was. But they didn't quite manage to catch the kill.
It's only a matter of time before someone faces Uniton. The spike making it back to the seaside. Here comes the peak off the back of the Hunter's Fury. They're trying to force players out of position, and they've done that. But Crystal was the one to fall. A nice shot by No Man, and that's immediately got G to cancel this push and look elsewhere. But meeting up with Autumn might not be the play. Well, that's an awkward reveal. They're not fully pushed up short. That's good information from Leo to have, I suppose.
20 seconds left. Time ticking down. Braga in position, but he's lost his teammate. Now he's the only one remaining on this site, but he gets support from above. Shutting it down, at least for now. 10 seconds for the remaining players of G to get in, and they find both kills. No Man, he maybe just needs to survive. In fact, he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get away. Pat catches him. G will close their map choice just about and go in with a lead for the second.
A 13-10. Well, it was.
Bring it back as we send it back to our casters.
Thank you, Victoria. XLG certainly putting on a better face when it comes to Haven, and now they come to a map where, well, we've seen them challenge NRG not too long ago. They didn't win it, but it was a very close affair. I think my hopes are definitely high that we can get a third map out of this one.
Yeah, I definitely expect it. G are trying to choose a Paper X comp to beat a comp that they were running. And I've learned in life trying to copy Paper X is a gamble and a half. We'll see if it works out for them. Through the smoke they go, and what Happyway has just met almost the entirety of the opposing team. One player has just been stuck behind the wall, by the way, all the way back towards the spawn, and they are still looking to fight even further forward. Lysor is waiting. But now that he's seen the aggression, that's where GE decide to go back.
Bring them down.
Well, GE are now looking to fight in water, but that net could be huge. They've got so many. XLG should walk out of here with a lot of kills, and in fact, they very much do. A 1-0 start for the defensive side. And again, this is where they were putting on a very good show up against NRG on the defense. So starting out with a pistol, definitely a good sign.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you go back to even before playing against NRG, and regionally, once they started playing this comp, I think it was 3 different appearances. They lost 9 rounds total. So I think it was a 13-2, a 13-0, a 13-7. So this is a composition that teams in China, at least, will have been trying to beat and failing. And sure, GE obviously will have come in, and they know their scrim partner, they know the comp, they know what's coming. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have the ability to beat it. Already, though. A 5 Spectre buy. It means that, I'd say at least on the A site, there's some vulnerabilities in this weapons range, but on the rest of the map, on B and C, you can play a lot of close angles. And of course, in this round, they're not up against much.
Well, yeah, those Spectres are going to shred anybody that they come up against, as long as they can get those first shots off. Nice paranoia. There's not going to be much a chance for Uniton to even make it out alive. That said, he survives a little longer, gets traded out on. Not bad damage if they can get a few more. That looks questionable. Okay, Javi's done well. Oh, Javi's done very well. He was caught there by the net, and Crystal now has a chance. Still just a classic to work with, and No Man will get him in the end. But you know, Tom, when you come in with 5 Spectres, you don't want to be getting out with just 2.
Yeah, no, you kind of expect that to almost come home as a relatively clean round when your opponents had nothing to play with. But it was just Harvey at the back of the site that made that one incredibly costly. It means there's not going to be a lot to play with here, other than, of course,
They're done.
the bounds of utility
There.
that are available for XLG. And I will say, going into this map, something that does
There.
excite me is seeing Autumn back on the Duelist. I think over the last couple of days, that has been where he truly shines. And already some aggressive space taken, a bit of a shaky fight initially, and in fact, Lightsaw has been able to bring this back to, I was going to say, an even scenario, but eventually Pac-Man caught him.
Yeah, with 2 pistols left to try to take these fights on such a big map as well, it's going to be hard to find any value. XLG, though, have Happyway's utility covering off C. They've got a camera outside that's giving a ton of information. Very deep control. And a lot of utility sat on the B site, albeit without No Man. 2 of those sensors won't do anything. So really, all they have to worry about is the A site. All they have to worry about is Leo taking a fight. But tucked in this corner, there is the... No, they're going to check it. Of course they are. Autumn first around the corner, nicely done, and now planting the 3v1.
Happyway. It now comes down to damage, and if he continues on this trajectory, they're going to get the information very early that he could be coming from behind. That's the problem. There is still the wall in play, and there you go, with it being tripped immediately. They know that they can take towards the spawn. Just look at Crystal. He's already walked all the way back around and is just watching in case he comes back through B. The rest of the players can just hold on to the cross. It becomes incredibly difficult. Now, the one good thing for Happyway is he's found a rifle. Has enough to buy into the next round, but also he can start to question, do I just want to hold on to this gun instead?
Well, exits would be very valuable for him, but stepping into Crystal's angle has one outcome, and one outcome only. 2-1. And look, again, this is the early half we expect. You win the pistol, you win the follow-up anti-eco, and now you come into this, the bonus, and lose it. It all goes as expected. When we talk about the defensive side for XLG, we know that in buy rounds, when the footing is even, they have a very good chance after what we saw up against NRG. So this round is really where I expect to see that turn around. You can see right away on the A site, they're going to try some aggression. Rarga's going to put that slow down, stopping G from taking space, but with a dash online, Autumn can still make it across. In fact, the Blast Pack's got Uditon there. The TP got Patman in. They are committing to this fight on GE's side. There's a lot more bodies than they might expect here, though.
This is the benefit of this comp, and already Uditon walking into angles has managed to find a couple. In fact, that's his 3rd of the round already. Raga, with a couple of low enemies, had a chance, but...
There's flank coming in.
Yeah, they're both just waiting. They're almost just trying to bait. They're making sounds while not giving anything away, like maybe trying to get him to keep looking. Well, Crystal maybe just a little bit early on that one. But they can now just rotate back in the other direction. Raga given slightly more of an opportunity. Actually, that's Rez.
Yeah, but look who's waiting around. Crystal hasn't fled the scene. Instead, he's still waiting on the A site. He'll find himself to close to the round. The 2nd for GE, and the lead no longer in XLG's hands.
Solid round from Uditon as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fight isolation. Some of that individual brilliance that we saw, especially in the series versus Leviathan and Bot.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. Seeing that pause out early is unusual. You won't see it a lot. Usually it means the game plan from top to bottom is not working and something drastic needs to change. For XLG, adjustments made, hopefully, but this will not be the round that, well, at least the majority of the time that we see the reward found for any of their labor. G have full rifles. They have ults to fall back on. Even if you can get one of those out of them, it could be a win. The Seekers, perhaps, the most likely, or the Showstopper, but this should be an easy follow-up from GE and an opportunity to take the lead as they're up against just a couple of pistols. No shields across the board, making this weapon in Autumn's hand very, very dangerous indeed. But I like what XLG are doing, just sitting back and setting traps, waiting for GE to step into them.
Okay, well, Seekers are going to go out. That makes all of those positions nowhere near as valuable. This is the thing. You might look at that and go, hey, they got an ult out of them. But when they have as many as they do, you almost want to cycle them a little bit. Having all 5 online is almost a waste at times, and if it makes a round like this cleaner, helps you build those credits up, that holds a lot more value for the side of Global Esports than just having all of those ults for the next round.
Yeah, as much as you'd love to have Seekers to go into a site with the Showstopper, you also have the Skydog. Should help out. Just to find that information to point the rocket in the right direction. Lysor, last alive, and look, if they didn't already hear the bookie firing earlier, they certainly know what they're up against now, seeing that smoke bloom. But for Lysor, we can see his chances of getting any kills are fairly low. Going down to the spike is his play, and well, even if he goes towards spawn, he'll die to Udaton, who does have the Showstopper already. So giving him an orb is not the end of the world. A little bit of cash and a 3rd round for GE.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing is, like, I was looking at Autumn, like, it almost tempted to go into that smoke. It's like, no, you have ult. Everybody other than Patman has ult, who needs 1 orb. There really isn't any value in you fighting this anymore. Let him keep the Bucky if he wants to. And while in the end, Udaton's position is enough. Lead taken by GE. But this really is looking like a swing round. 4 ultimates, well, almost online for both sides, but 4 already on the XLG side. Buy back up after the pause, which was where we saw the turnaround in the first half of the last map. And I wonder if they're going to maybe play a slightly more passive game, force their opponents to execute, but that's not quite as worrying when you have these ults online.
Yeah, you're looking at No Man. Ability to get in there and just steal one of the other players. GE have already made noise on this C site, and you can see XLG are ready to pounce. No Man standing by, thinking about the annihilation, but all the while,
shadows traveling.
GE are scaling up now towards this A site. Less heavily defended. This is where the res is as well, so getting these picks early is going to make it much harder for XLG to ramp back into things. But the problem is that while they're creeping up here, it seemed for a moment like XLG had a perfect read. They haven't sent No Man this way, at least, but Leo is still standing by. 3 players on the A side. The fake on C better be good.
Oh, there goes that Showstopper. Blinded up initially, but that hasn't slowed him down. He might not get it with the Showstopper, but he has found it elsewhere. Raga's done well. Res, of course, available, but getting in for it is not going to be possible. And just to make sure that space is confirmed, we are going to see utilization. And actually just an aggressive peek out from Crystal. 1 player caught.
You will not kill my
Res used. And that puts the favor back for the defenders. Oh, the stun actually caught him. That was enough for a trade out. And now No Man brings it back into a 1 versus 1. But I don't know if he's ever seen Autumn in this corner. He almost walked past him just moments ago. The spike not planted for him, and that's why he doesn't check that way. It is a back and forth of sorts, a res used, and so much more. But it's GE still to come out on top.
Yeah, that's a really big blow to XLG. GE now sitting with a ton of credits.
Bold.
Outside of that, they've got the Blade Storm on Autumn, who I think is going to come in here with an Outlaw, and XLG put all their credits into that last one. They put ultimates into that last one. And even No Man showing up in a big way was not enough. XLG trailing by 2. The pause changed nothing. And GE have a chance to extend this even further. In fact, great net from No Man. I mean, they really didn't see that one coming. But for GE, this is their opportunity to push up to 5. And if it's clean, to build up an even bigger buffer of credits. XLG, it's sad, but in this round, they almost need to do damage.
Yeah, but then the other side of the coin is some of those ults that were expended in the last round can start to build back up. So either way, GE have got to be very happy. 4 rounds already versus what is normally an incredibly tough comp to play into on the defensive side. And you can't help but feel that that missed shot on the stunned up player made all the difference in the last round. Harvey somehow able to save himself. Even still, a bit cagey from GE. They know how important this is. Of course, a team that the talking point was that they never make playoffs. And that's regionally. We're talking about in Pacific now. They are a map away from making it elsewhere. And while thankfully Autumn was well aware of the potential of a close position.
The updraft in a small room does sometimes make it hard to hit. You flick up a little bit too high. I'm not even sure that's needed, Patman. I mean, he loved going for the TP plays last map. This time you're up against an eco in a 5v3, and he's like, I'm going to go for the flank play, boys. Fair enough. He's got himself 2 kills for his trouble. Hopefully we don't see that backfire a little bit later on. The GE seem to be feeling confident, and the flawless round will certainly help.
Yeah, 5 rounds already. And normally you'd be looking at that and going, that doesn't feel like a death sentence, but 5 in a row versus a triple Senti defensive side comp. A lot of the time, if they get to start on this side, you don't really need the other side. They have shown stuff on the attack as well, but this is starting to feel a little bit detrimental. And that early pause kind of sold it that they wanted to stem the bleeding. It feels like, Mitch, this has to be the time that they stop it.
Yeah, this has to be where they restore order to this defensive side. An operator in play for Rarga. And so far, you even think back to the last full buy they had, they looked so good on the retake on A. And so many pickups, no man was on a tear. And it wasn't enough. GE get Patman into position, pushed up on A. He's looking to catch the rotations, and the rest of the team is looking to bait them. Seekers go out. Finding some info to work with, but this is all a ruse, and now it's time to go for Patman, but he's been spotted. The Prowler sees him. Now the element of surprise dissipates, and you won't get a free sight anymore. No, they are calling for rotations back. The op is coming into play. The paranoia didn't land either, but Patman shifts focus towards the B site. That net is good. It's caught Utatan, but now he's got backup. They're playing the high-low. It's across the map for GE. They're fighting everywhere. It's going to be confusing for XLG as to where the hit's coming in, but it doesn't matter. They're finding all of the picks.
Happyway's done very well. He was the most likely to be isolated in that fight, but getting 2 picks from it. Still a sensor here, but all that's really going to do is give the game away. Leo's committed a little bit further.
Drop the spike, you win.
10 seconds left.
That's exactly what he's going to do. 8 seconds left. Patman, all he can really do is make this costly. A nice quick double, and well, there's Leo at the end to close out the round. XLG will find themselves a 3rd. And now we expect to see them build into this half a little.
Obviously, Leo's there in the end to close the round, but it's also before even the first shot is landed that he really earns his money in this one. The fact that he puts that Prowler out to check if someone's outside A reveals Patman, who otherwise would have had an easy lurk. Those players were starting to rotate. Rarga was running away from the A site. He would have had a 1v1 on a player that had no idea he was there, but Leo was curious, and the Prowler got them the early read on the play. Validated their concerns, and now a 3-5 scoreline. It's not pretty, but plenty of rounds left in this half to still shape up as a good one for the defense. Rarga's on the angle, and he will find that with ease. Even the wall to slow them down on the tree play.
Yeah, making sure he can't be surrounded allows him to lock in on the angle. There has been a TP across already, but and the slows put into play. He knows exactly how to play around his utility, and even has support, although Noman does have to be a little bit careful. I definitely don't think he knows that Patman's already ahead of it. A chance maybe to just wrap around and find that kill, but there's the first. The second player behind the wall at least. Even still, that man advantage kept, and there's re-aggression coming out from Leo as well. Patman is just trying to do everything. Spots the player. Knows that he's there, but his teammates are all falling like flies. We're watching a man play a masterful game of Ring Around a Rosie, but unfortunately his teammates aren't alive to help him out. Still an advantage here for XLG.
They'll at least get the plants. 2v3, someone needs to step out of the way, and with the Nightfall going in, it's going to be a difficult round. Shot landed on the Rarga, but he's still alive up top, not for long. Happy does well, the drop down not heard though. Here's a big swing from Happy Way, and he'll get there in the end. XLG, a 4th round locked in. And now we're starting to see this defensive side take shape.
It's very interesting because you go back and look at their games regionally. You'd think that maybe the 13-0 was 12 rounds on the defense. It was 12 rounds on the attack. But it's when they brought it here versus NRG, where they struggle more on the attack side. So it's obviously imperative that they still throw in that solid half, but
In the end, for XLG, they're now 1 round behind.
Goes here.
Picking up some momentum. With a few rounds left to go, the lead could still be theirs at halftime. G's attack. Trying to avoid Rarga on A. They've walked into him on B, but this time they live to tell the tale.
But yeah, in fact, he was the one that took the majority of the damage. Immediate ult usage, not really a chance to response. The nade almost finishing off Noman, but that will be Harvey. And he had the spike. Oh, that's really rough. That is a special delivery all the way to the C site. What do you even do?
They haven't realized. They haven't noticed just yet that the TP can be taken. Patman doesn't have ult online, and no one's hit tab to realize. Now they know, with the orb taken, that spike is not going to be there for long. It's stolen back, and GE walk into the A site wide open. For XLG, it's not a bad idea. Sure, they're going to concede a plant, and Lysor's very low. But the main thing is to avoid losing players in these early skirmishes. Play that retake together. And for now, at least, they've avoided any early flare from GE.
Yeah, but look at the ults. Showstopper for Yudotan could be a real spanner in the works. They'd love to have that Annihilation back online now. And he's just buying time. He's just holding it. He wants to try and deny them. It's a nice shot from Rarga. A man who was tagged earlier on, but he's still able to survive. The knives also not getting anything just yet, but there we go. Already a pickup. Crystal also on the other side of this has found another res. Utilized the up top position of Patman, gets nothing, and now all that remains is Crystal versus the whole team. And Rarga once again. Does he have enough time for the defusal? The rest of the team have run away, and no! It seemed like they have it, but just a little bit too slow. The spike will act as a Red Bull clutch.
I need to turn my volume up, and hell, maybe they do as well. That's ridiculous. 0.5 as well, much bigger gap than I thought. And they clearly didn't know either, committing to that defuse, hoping that it would be close enough, but the realization kicked in before the spike had exploded. GE doing just enough. Less than a second in it, but a 6th round finds its way into their back pocket.
The funny thing
guaranteed neck and neck at the half.
It's the showstopper. Yeah, that was it. Just that he held it just for a little bit of time. Sometimes you'll look at that and go like, oh, maybe that's a Rosa ult, but not in this case.
I'll apologize to Yudotan for saying he popped it a bit early. Earlier than I expected, but right on time. Very well done. Looks like XLG putting a lot of stock towards this C hit. They've got the right read, but they don't know just how right they are. Dog going through will keep them in position. Happy Way has very, very passive utility there, playing to punish GE when they take space. And I meant more so towards the C site after the plans, but
Okay.
well, in both cases, very nice early fights.
The spam's through as well.
Spike down, C.
That's where the Guardian really holds its value. A nice trade back from Crystal, though, and he does have his ultimate online. Again, timing it correctly. Could remove weaponry, but instead he's gone swinging. And he's found Rarga, and not in the way he'd hope. Autumn in a 1v3. He could reposition through the B site. There's still a lot.
30 seconds
through.
left.
The wall now breaks, and Rarga already watching on that angle as well. Even making it on this cross is not going to be easy, unless he can hit the shot immediately onto Leo, and he cannot. Rarga already back in position once again, but is he just going to run through? Can he make it through before his opponent stops him? Door needs to be broken. 10 seconds, and he's even hit. I think that might have been through the wall.
Yeah, it was. He's left him down to 54. That's going to make this a damn sight easier to slow the paranoia even more so. And yeah, you're dead to rights. Really nice stuff from XLG now. We are seeing, again, what looked like domination to start this out after the second round. XLG slow down. G start to run away with it convincingly so in some of the rounds. It might have been slow to get on the board, but there's no denying them now. 1 round left in the half. And XLG can still make this an even one.
Yeah, it is starting to feel like Haven once again, where G come out of the block strong.
It's Rarga's off, man. It's just made such a difference. It feels like every round he's either getting the information, but not being punished if he misses the shot, or in the vast majority, he's got them a man advantage. And then some. And you can't push him after because he's using his util to slow him.
Yeah, it's the slow, the wall, whatever he can put into play. Last round of the half. And it's not the prettiest from GE either. Stingers for the most part. Of course, they can still take the weaponry away with that Steel Garden. And the ultimate's not built up on the other side. Leo is trying to get himself a little bit closer, but
My ult's ready.
unless he is getting a multi-frag, the likelihood is that Nightfall will not be used.
Minute on the clock. And GE are very happy to sit and wait. 28 shots. Yeah, we go to the Classic eventually. Honestly, I think it would have broken just off of time with not that much of a difference. But we got one mag left for Udaton.
He's baiting them in. He's baiting them in. And, you know, he has kept 2 players. Seeker's about to be used. See, they're trying to put Lysor in and now looking to remove the weaponry, but obviously it does take a second or two. Lysor's just going to have to run out of there, and I like the Thorns. The Thorns forced him to take a lot of damage on the way out.
Yeah, shield stripped, but he's going to go and at least get that heal back from Rarga. Again, we've seen this net before. This time Udaton very close. He will be caught, but not before he gets one. Not a bad trade for the weaker weapons in this round. Still 2 rifles to work with. Patman gets tagged, doesn't even get the heal there. Steps into the smoke a little too early, and Rarga shuts him down as well with the recovered rifle. A look for the fight on Javi. He's not seeing the angle, but now he has. And slipping himself away to hopefully have that cover from Crystal, but the smoke up has blocked him out. He's got to be quick. They could be defusing for all he knows, but they've given the game away now. Still, no angle on the diffuser, and finally he will strike. The patience from Crystal, a flash still to work with, sees them defusing. He's got to swing in, and he will. Reading it just in time for the Red Bull clutch.
Ah, what a round coming out from Crystal. His teammates bought him the time for a mass wraparound all the way through on that flank. And just impressive stuff individually to not uprun at the end when you know that they could have been defusing. Utilize that flash as well. That is just an intelligent player in the clutch.
Oh, a 2-round lead for GE, who are already up a map. This is definitely looking like XLG are in trouble, but I think they found enough towards the end that the second half isn't exactly terrifying.
Sent out Udaton and No Man when they played on prior rosters as well. Even Autumn and Lysor have a connection with FPX, but only one of them can go marching on as they eliminated 2 other teams from their respective leagues. Only one of them makes it into the playoffs, and for GE, they are going to hope to try and do it in 2. But for XLG, regionally, that attack side was strong. But I do think they're going to want to get a pistol.
No Man's got to be careful. He's got the spike right now, and the flank coming in. It looks like the timing could be good to catch him. He's rounded the corner just in time. Instead, it's Leo. He's really thrown to the wolves there. XLG lose themselves their fade. But they'll get the A site for this. Oh, maybe they won't. The wall's blocked out the spike. Again, No Man is isolated, is trapped, and he'll make it back to his buddies.
Yeah, there's been a few moments already that could have made this round incredibly spicy. Instead, it's Leo sacrificed a post plant, which is normally where this composition becomes so tough to break through. The wall already in position. And a flank already spotted. It may be a man advantage, but there aren't a massive amount of advantages for GE here.
No, this can very easily flip-flop it in the other direction. Oh, he's got 3! Lysor tucked in the corner. Got a lot more than he bargained for coming his way. What a round from Udaton. That's going to get GE up to 8.
That's just nightmare fuel for XLG. You want that boost into the half and a guy runs around the corner. Multiple people trying to face him off tap and he just absolutely destroys them. Quick enough to correct, but also a little bit disjointed from the other side. Not quite able to find those trades. Gives GE that little bit of a boost, and as I said, that is the last thing XLG wanted on their map choice, a map that regionally has been flawless over the last few months. There would be back-to-back defeats on it. if they're unable to make a recovery. But fact is, recovery is not expected in this round.
They had the net land to start this out, but no one followed up, and Crystal now surrounded, finds himself in a bit more trouble. Excuse me. Crystal from further back, firing in those shots and making it out and buying a little bit of time. But XLG aren't looking to change the direction, at least from what we're seeing. A Skydog might change their mind. They know now rotates have happened. They know the C site's a little better defended. But you're either going to rotate into space that you've given up, or you're going to pump the brakes and just hope that GE start second-guessing themselves.
They're going to try and just walk it.
Blinded.
Flash is going to let them know, but Nomad's managed to win the fight. Crystal here, but the jump across is fantastic. They're playing this one well as a team, but they still have to deal with Yudotan again. Back-to-back triples at a minimum. And he's now waiting for his teammate to come in behind. Hathaway still with a rifle.
30
Expecting
seconds left.
something. I like the angle he's taking, but unfortunately left a little bit open. Another Yudotan round, a showstopper online. But the fact is that was still a little bit too close.
Yeah, the panic version of me was thinking, well, we have the showstopper. Maybe you just throw it in to win the round. But I think that was the backup plan here. Let Autumn go, let him find the pick. If he dies, then maybe we throw that showstopper in. But it wasn't needed. GE find themselves in 9th. It looks on the timeline like an easy one, but certainly anything but with the way that panned out.
Okay,
XLG now come in with a full buy themselves. Losing this, the chances of making playoffs, they take a plummet real quick.
Scout
Rifle
destroyed.
handed over to Harvey. Yudotan is just going to be playing with the showstopper this round, waiting for someone to make contact, and if the stars align, they'll be put into play. It really is, as bonuses go, a weak one. More pistols than purchase weaponry, and for XLG, this is feeling like the moment to build back into this game. They've even got heavy shields on every single player. They know what they're up against. There goes the showstopper. There goes a freebie, and a weapon that can be picked up by Yudotan.
A really big kill as well, not only for the weapon, but for that utility removed. XLG now, flank is open, they've got to go. And the decision is towards the C site. Wall gone in, they can make it onto Crystal site a little bit quicker than he's expecting.
Ooh.
Nice shot, but the wall got in the way. XLG keep things even. With a plant coming through, you've got to be wary of the spams, but that's not a
30 seconds
that's
left.
not a commonly spammed
Spike
angle.
planted.
Leo almost got a haircut.
This is still where things get so much tougher for GE. The post plant versus what is now a double senti. Still incredibly difficult. Yudotan is taking that initial space, but it's Raga to find the kill. No man with another. And in fact, he doesn't even realize he gets the third.
I'm keeping my
A
brain
double tap
empty.
through the smoke. And what started out a little bit shaky from the showstopper is 4 players staying alive for XLG. That is a good way to break back.
This could definitely be a revival for XLG if they can have a bit of a streak early on. That round is one they're expected to win, but that's what makes me feel a little bit better about XLG's chances. The vibe check over that side of the stage looking good. All smiles, all standing. Autumn might be about to wipe that smile off their face. He's inside the smoke with the op. He's making it out. At least it seemed like he would.
Crystal died first.
Crystal gets shot in his place, and Autumn follows him to the spectator screen. That's one hell of a start for XLG, and yeah, I think you kind of have to save.
This is the problem. Like, you're running that double duelist.
Spike
You're up
planted.
against, as said, a composition that in the post plant is almost impossible. Just look at the utility on the map right now. There's a wall holding onto the cross. They've already put a sensor in the spawn, a second wall to block off with the barrier. There's no way back into the site as it is. So what you're going to see from GE is these aggressive starts. Like, we want to deny them having all of those players in the post plant. We want to deny them getting into the post plant in the first place. The problem is you get wrecked like that and you have no choice. There is no way that they're getting back in.
It does just look like a rare mistake from Crystal to step in. Gets unlucky that he spammed down, but of course it's an angle they're spamming when Autumn had been caught out the way that he did. Autumn overstaying his welcome in the smoke. Crystal going down ahead of his utility. What else can you do but save? I can tell you what else. You can throw your weapons away. You have two choices. One of them much better than the other. And a great net at the end.
just full trolling. He's having a good time.
Oh, why not?
Captain 3K got it in the last round, but now we look again to see if there's any sort of response. Of course, the problem for GE is that you get into that first proper buy round, you get slaughtered.
Step up your A game with the Galaxy.
Autumn would love to have a Blade Storm here, but 3 away, that's not really a feasible goal. So for GE, even with those rifles, this will be a weak round, but let's see what they talked about in that timeout.
Seems like they're going to at least try and challenge, but a little bit of early control. Harvey with an off angle. One that should be expected. That cam, I don't believe, has given things away already. The utilization of the Annihilation. As Crystal's gone, and well, Harvey tries to react. Yudatan has been a man of many moments. This would have to be one of the best of them. The full squad running down on him, and he had no support. Well, they left Patman as the sole defender
Spike planted.
of the other side of the map, and he is only just making it over here.
Last player standing.
Yeah, some credit's not in the best of positions. With Autumn being the last alive, maybe picking that rifle. Getting out could be the right play. Getting some damage in on top of it. For now, at least, he's just sat down in the spawn waiting, expecting someone to come pushing.
With the problem as well is a lot of what you can see with this XLG comp, and it's what I have seen when other teams have tried to run it, is a lot of the time you can need an ult to get you that entry. Like I think we witnessed it in this round. The Annihilation takes a player away, pulls someone in, and it gives you an opener, and you can then react off that. And you see people try and react to that ultimate. So to be honest, the worst thing that Autumn can do is run in and give them an ultimate orb. You don't want them to have a Nightfall. You don't want them to have a res, because then you can sacrifice someone and then they come right back again. So it's kind of an awkward spot where, yeah, the best thing I can do is die to the spike.
Raga's definitely having a much better time as well in terms of impact. Even here, all that utility, you had the Sky Flash, you had the nade go through on A main, he just walked past it. And him walking past it meant they were much quicker to actually fill in the space, because he was telling them, yeah, they naded, yeah, they flashed, but no one stepped forward. And if no one stepped forward, they're either playing passive or they've rotated and left this as a light side of the map. Early chance here for Autumn. Operator will be bought up. Odin in play for Crystal, playing towards the doors on A. But XLG have shifted their focus to this C site. They're looking at this operator who's not got a very favorable angle with that smoke in the way, and the shot won't land for him either. But even just hearing that op seems to have made XLG reconsider.
Oh yeah, if you were going to run anything that you might have seen NRG do, I think it might be an operator and an Odin. I think they might have been inspired in that case. The only problem is they would also then need, I think, Patman to drop like 34 kills like Kiko did to get them through the map.
He saw them there. They don't think he saw them, but that paranoia and nade is perfect. Unitone with a little jump peek, and XLG just didn't react as a result.
Look at the damage.
Happyway's almost dead, and they've lost a player.
Did Raga just heal himself?
I think so, Tom.
Because he's used the heal, and Happyway is top health. Yeah. Maybe just a reactionary decision, but
sorry, misclick.
Seemingly the wrong one.
30 seconds left.
Spam. Well, they've got to be so careful, but oh, maybe Raga was the right person. Now he has that res online. The swing through, a little bit risky from Yudatan. And now they get that res in play. It's going to leave Lysor a bit healthier, and caught out is Patman. It was starting so well for the side of GE. But now they are a man down again.
Happyway still on 12 HP, and now the Odin's starting to ring out, but he's backed out of the site. Those wall bangs won't even get close to him. And with an op on the other player, and the wall being triggered.
That's such good bait.
They're just going to go for the save. They're sensing too much danger here, and XLG grab themselves a 9th round as a result.
It's just immediately Crystal starts looking towards the A side going, oh, he's flanking us. They're still checking for all of these positions just because Leo just walked out and baited the wall. That's just a clever little piece. Maybe he was actually going to flank them until then, but what a recovery from XLG. That round started with an unbelievable amount of damage done off the back of the nade, and then from then onwards, GE just crumbled. Like it was again just players trying to be a hero in these moments. Like a swing out of a smoke, then moments later, another swing out of a smoke. They are being caught out in isolated fights, and that's exactly what XLG want.
It was looking like we were getting towards the home stretch for global esports, like a 2-0 was on the horizon and growing closer by the second. But now, the shoe's on the other foot. Things have slowed down, and a 4-round streak has put XLG right back into this game. Right back into this series and right back into contention for playoffs. It's GE with a weak buy. Still the AWP, still the Odin. But the rest are with pistols, and they're isolated. Uniton stands no chance.
He was kind of meant to be the second layer to the operator. Unfortunately, he ended up being left alone. Immediate call to try and go back in the other direction, but Raga is still here. Plant seems guaranteed, and once again, once all of that utility goes down, that's at least a nice spam. Crystal, one of the few weapons, but are they now just going to opt to go back in the other direction again?
Looks like plant down below is going to come through. Crystal trying to contain them, but won't find anything from that spot. No paranoia to work with to break back in. Patman has a gap in the wall, but they should know by now. He can possibly walk through, and now they most certainly do. Getting anything here should be tough. Patman's the only one that's risking his life. The rest of the squad is saving those weapons yet again. Not worth throwing at a round like this. And maybe if they found one more pick, maybe if something else had gone their way, they'd try, but instead, well, the question is, will they be allowed to save them? XLG are hunting them, at least in the case of Varga, but he will meet his demise.
Yeah, they've got so many credits that it really does become irrelevant. And as said, with their ults being so impactful, think about the res in the prior round. I don't think he's going to care if he goes down, as long as he's getting those ultimate orbs. I also think this brings back an interesting conversation at the beginning of the veto, because obviously I'm not going to pretend to know these teams better than they know each other. They're scrim partners. They probably know each other better than anyone else. When I was trying to predict the veto, I thought the G would ban this map and risk playing Fracture. There was something about the Fracture of XLG that maybe they didn't want to play, or they thought they had a counter on this map. And from what we're seeing so far in this attack side, I'm starting to question if that's true.
Rounds and a lead for XLG. A showstopper online for GE, an investment. Full credits and an operator that's been saved for so many rounds, and now it has the early round impact. Now it lands that blow to XLG to put them a man behind. Their response is to scale up into C, and they will find this very free.
Yeah, they bait the wall. Crystal realizes that, yeah, I can opt to try and fight this alone, but once the utility comes in, it's going to be incredibly difficult. That's a little bit risky, though. Leo was trying to bait them in, and he succeeded. Obviously, they're not planting towards the waterfall because of the spams coming through on the other side, and even still, they just can't find a safe space. That will be the moment, though. No man with a decent shot. Showstopper now coming through, but it's Raga again! You said he's been having a standout game, but this really is a step up, an immediate headshot. Still, these fights becoming more and more awkward. A 2v2 down to just one, but Lysor holds the line. 2 kills for him, 2 rounds ahead, and XLG hightailing it towards Breeze.
Oh, that is a backbreaker round. G had it all. They had the opening picks, they had the ults, they had the tags, they denied the plant, and they threw it all away. Over eager, spamming with an Odin, 80 bullets through a smoke, and you don't think they'll shoot back? Jumping in with the showstopper when nobody else is ready to go. This is a team that lost their way. And now we might go all the way to Breeze as a result for XLG. They find themselves again against weaknesses. GE have invested somewhat, 3 rifles. But that showstopper out of the equation. The Blade Storm no longer around. This makes life so much easier for the attack side.
Oh, I like the aggressive push-up, though. the set strategies have not been working. Let's resort to just trying to punch them in the throat or walk up, and they've got past Yudotan. It's only the one, though. It looked like there was an opportunity for more than that. Even still, man advantage held. Harvey not really with the weaponry to do too much here, and with the TP to the back of the site. A post plant will ensue, but 2 of those Sentinels are gone. It's only going to be No Man's util this time.
Oh, Leo can run through on that dog, but he decides to go back, wary of more players. Wise move. Goes the C's. A little further than expected. Perhaps GE now have their ult to go through. Weapons are going to be removed from the hands of XLG, and the push is about to come through. No Man gets caught off. Leo ends up killing him with his own flash. Javi, that's a big mistake. And it's given a chance now. Rifle back online for XLG, and they'll find a flurry of frags! 12 rounds for XLG! And GE have got to be kicking themselves. They have thrown what could have been a lead, what could have been a competitive map, maybe even a favored one, and they have thrown it to the wind.
One enemy.
This is looking like the ultimate capitulation for global esports. 7 rounds in a row. Each one that goes by feels more and more like the one that will finally break the streak. That one definitely the peak of it, but again, back-to-back rounds where Lysor steps up. And now just one needed to take us to a 3rd map. GE might look back at this and be kicking themselves. They could have had this. Instead, they walk into the blender. 3 players gone. A 2v5 needed. And while this round is looking like a breeze.
Spike planted.
For GE, as you said, a 3rd map now on the horizon. It seems almost impossible for them to fight their way back into this one. It'll be devastating knowing... No, they're going to be slowed down even more by that util potentially. Oh, they made it past. But knowing that this could have been, if not a closed game, a much closer one, and instead, look at what they're running into. Crystal, okay, that's a double and a chance to break his teammate out. It's not quite over just yet, but now it very much seems like it is. The time too far gone, the slow on the spike, and more than enough bodies to throw at this situation. It is 13-9. A resounding act that had the deeper seed, who've been watching and waiting for their moment to face off against squads like this. For GE and XLG, as we said, a hard-fought battle. Some factors coming online and offline. It's been up and down. This is what it all comes down to.
A compositional change, which sees the Phoenix come in instead of the Neon, but well, I was going to say the Jet as well, but never mind. That's already dissipated. A big part of their previous series was Autumn having a phenomenal game over on that chamber. And Yudotan being also a highlight, showing that Neon definitely can still rock. This position from Patman needs more than one, and he gets it. In fact, the 3rd about to come around the corner. The shock dart will do a little bit of tickle damage, but Yudotan is immediately there to drop the spike. A bit of an odd position from Leo on that lurk with the Sova, and he's going to get nothing. It will be a pistol round. Back onto the board. And I'll be honest with you, Mitch, off that last map, I actually think it's fairly important that GE get on the board early.
Yeah, definitely. In general, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, thinking back to even their opening series, like this has been a factor throughout the entire tournament for them that they go missing sometimes. They're a team that wins massive streaks of rounds, and then whether they get a little too loose or a little too tight, it's hard to tell, but the game plan needs to be switched up sometimes. For GE, a 1-0 start, as you said, the pistol going their way. Patman with a big play up close. You're going to see a lot of risks taken by him based on what we've seen from them so far on this stage. What they face off against now is just classics. Not even a single upgrade for XLG. The chances of even dropping a weapon on the other side looking very low. And add to that the fact that Patman, as we've seen, he's got to pick with the Sheriff. That is his primary weapon. So even one kill is not going to be enough to have any damage in for GE. But there's one kill.
Yeah, you know what? That went better than expected. There's only a pistol on the other side. Never mind. The fadeaway. The almost no-look headshot from Patman. Single player drop, but that rifle's been retrieved. And now GE can go in with a fairly strong purchase into this next round.
He's got a lot of opportunities as well. For the first full buy, you should probably have the Viper's pit online because of this 3K and I think it was a 2K in the pistol as well.
One enemy remaining.
Indeed it was, so he's set up very nicely to now have that pit on 3 away from it in the early stages, although maybe you'd want to see it on normally a Jet, a Sage for the little bit of extra buffer. G are going to use 4 players on A early on. They're looking for a serious fight, and even after they see the first, they shouldn't expect it to be this stacked up. And there's the second aggression. Beautiful stuff from Crystal, who's walked out of there with 2. That's weapons on the ground to potentially be upgraded.
And on the other side of things, like maybe in a normal circumstance, Leo would look to try and hold on to that ground, but instead, him having the spike means he has to retreat. Early usage of the wall is what allowed them to gamble, but Harvey, after dropping down, went back up for a peek, and now because of that, they have lost all of that control.
Steps heard by Lysor, but he's not landed the shots. Luckily, he doesn't pay for it with his life. Udaton
Spike planted.
could be behind them a little quicker than expected. They're certainly clearing it, at least they were, but Leo's now looking elsewhere as the wall breaks. He's just walking in to fill that space. They'll come back to clear it though. Has to hit his shots from Udaton, and he will. Another player around that corner that he doesn't know about, but he's looking the right way for Lysor, and it looks like he's got all the pieces of the puzzle. 3 players left alive for GE. It's a very successful follow-up.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that seemed like better positioning and a read on the scenario than if someone had just used a Cypher roll. Like, he was just looking exactly where his opponents were standing in every single moment. Solid round from Udaton, and considering that was, of course, a bonus round where a lot of it was Bulldogs, that is a huge round to take early on. Again, a hot streak for GE in the early rounds. And for the other side of things, well, I initially saw Lysor invest into a rifle, but it's not going to be as much of a gamble. Pistols and a stinger to come into this round.
Just with so many times we've seen GE, it feels like fall off a cliff face in terms of that momentum. You want to see them keep putting rounds on the board. I feel like XLG have a chance to fight back almost at any time, especially after what we saw on the last map. This round shouldn't be won. There's a lot of weaknesses for XLG, as you'd expect. Losing that 3rd round is a death sentence for your economy. They don't go for the grouped up full sight hits that we so often see. It looked like they're trying to check how GE are playing that early mid position, looking for aggression out of the double doors, and perhaps it was the second they heard that Sage wall up, they realized, yeah, they're not fighting for this space. We're gonna have to hit a sight hit. That means running into a lot of dangers.
Couple of missed shots, and well, not for No Man. Able to get one. Harvey on the backside, he's taken so much damage. They've traded incredibly well, and does Udaton risk it? Does he risk it? He does, but just gets out of there with 1. Not an overface. Patman's got to be careful, the fallback. I believe that shot dart did a lot of damage. It did, an assist onto Leo. Even still, position of Happyway is not going to be checked, and because of that, he now has a rifle from Patman. Puts it into a 2v2 that, if anything, is favored at this point.
And now it certainly is! Rarga with both barrels as deadly as the last. It's 3-1 for XLG. You know, you talk about that ability to fight their way back, to get back into the game, how important it is for GE to streak those rounds. Well, you see it here. It's a MasterCard Thrifty that gives the first round to the attacking side. And again, think back to how GE lost the last map. I think having these interruptive rounds is only going to hit them harder because of how this series has gone.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised almost to see Rarga going back over to that Phoenix. It's not been the greatest of agents, but if he starts hitting shots like that, starts getting closer towards that running back a little bit earlier, I think they're going to be very happy indeed. Udaton already about to challenge into a multitude of players. Autumn with the trade, and Mark now pinged up. They know exactly where Harvey is. A lot of what he needs to do is just try and avoid the angle of Rarga for a second or 2 more, and that's exactly what he does. A swing back around, but then he's open to the wall. Isolation of those players going well for XLG, and in fact, Patman's been caught again, the last man standing.
Spike planted.
He's got a weapon you like, but a weapon he'd like to save even more.
Yeah, I definitely don't like his chances here. Great flash as well put through. And the trade at a minimum for XLG. That's what they were looking for. China's #2, certainly not giving up on that playoff spot. And 1 round behind, facing into a very light fight from GE. They should be at least putting this equal early on.
One enemy
And the other thing I'll say is, early signs, Tom, seems like Happyway might have Patman's number. A lot of those rotations, that's 2 rounds in a row that he sat there waiting for him and catches a freebie.
Yeah, I think Patman's going to have to maybe start taking a slightly safer route. Those flanks has not been paying off, and I think something that almost needs to be talked about now is, in terms of regional strength, there's been a lot of talk about Pacific, their depth in teams. If GE lose this game, it will just be Paper X. It'll be the only one left, a good one to have left, and while XLG certainly looking to try and make that storyline become a reality already, down to just 2 players remaining. The Patman, I think, holding onto the gun holds so much more value, but Happyway again is going to be the one to catch him. He's trying to hold into middle. And now for Harvey, of course, in this case, only having a Guardian, the kill holds more value, and there you go. Ultimate online, he'll fall. They'll be able to buy into the next round.
We got to see a pause soon from GE. XLG are picking up too much momentum, and like I said, thinking about how the last one ended, I just counted it and I still can't remember. It was like 8 rounds in a row or something ridiculous from XLG. And in so many of those rounds, think about one of the last ones. 5 versus 3 for GE. 1 player runs in, dies. 2nd player runs in, dies with a showstopper. And all of a sudden, it's equal footing. It feels like at times, GE are a victim of their own snowball. They're being rolled over by an avalanche on XLG, and halting that momentum is being too difficult of a task so far. No timeout, they run right into this. XLG fighting for the lead, the team being taken by Lysor, and they had no idea! It's huge for Lysor, but Patman, this time, needs a little bit more than just the one. The site has fallen and the plant seems undeniable.
Hey, Yudatan has done well, though.
It's down to 30 HP.
At least winning a fight. Turning it into an even scenario, but these retakes, even when even, haven't been successful. Rez will give them the advantage, but it's also burning time off the clock while they wait for it. Nice shot from Autumn, but he's now low as well. His post plan needs to be some shots connected by Leo. He's got Raga alongside him, but now Leo is all that remains. He knows that at least for that moment there wasn't anybody on it. Can he see the arm? He can. Shock Dart needs to connect. It needs to be perfect, but it's the shots instead. But Yudatan again, the hero of the round for GE, will be there to close.
The man was 30 HP. He got a heal and ends up on 25. That is a narrow margin, but GE, a win is a win at this stage. Yudatan having to do so much work, though. It can't be relied on. Yes, he's had games where he is doing this every single round, but we've seen what happens when he slows down. He's currently sat 9-3 in a game that they're only winning by 1 round. If he slows down, XLG run away with this.
Well, you can see the confidence as well. Like Lysor, while that Hunter's Fury's going off, full TPing behind them. Like, he was great on the last map towards the end. It seems like he's brought that into this one. Viper's Pit on one side, stack up of players on the other. Heal immediately going to be needed because the spam almost gets rid of Yudatan. Of course, this has become a double operator setup. One obviously held, the other in the form of the Tour de Force. It gives a lot of angles that attack side have to be careful entering, but it's Yudatan instead who's going to be the one moving forward. There's nobody covering this, but he's not quite able to get the kill.
It's a nice return by Crystal. It's Happyway down. Maybe Patman can push the spawn this round. But he's got his pit up, so it's certainly not a likely play.
For the love of God, no.
I wouldn't be surprised, though. And XLG, again, we've seen this many times. You lose that initial fight, pump the brakes, wait for over-rotations, and if they don't happen, well, you're going to have to push right into it, aren't you? Here we go. The running back put into play. They have to get through the slow, and Yudatan's already punished them, but hello! It's an awkward fight! No man gets nothing for his trouble. Uniton's there with another.
30 seconds left.
And GE now, after slowing
He
down,
died.
after letting XLG in, a 4 versus 2. Now a 3 versus 2. As numbers start to slip, you get spooked as Happy falls. You get scared, and now I'm terrified. It's only Autumn. 1 versus 2, a tour de force, but not a snowball's chance in hell.
How did they lose that? Genuinely, it's madness that XLG are coming out of these rounds. I think the first kill comes with Uniton just stepping into a Molotov, and then they just peek one by one. If there isn't a pause here, I almost will start to wonder if the GE coaching staff have just given up, because that is crazy that that round ended up slipping away from them.
Still no pause? Okay.
Maybe he's broken the button.
On we go, I suppose. GE now forced down to pistols. Maybe they'll even save the pause for the full buy. See what they decide to do with this one. Early aggression, wall put up. Happy way. Doesn't seem too aware of the possibility of someone up on top. Didn't seem spooked by it, but now he certainly is. The thing is, in this round for GE, like, yeah, they've got a couple of sheriffs. They've got the headhunter as well. They've got a bandit. Everybody's capable of taking a decent fight. Not a favorable one, but a decent one. But the problem is, the numbers for XLG, once they go to push and pull the map, they can take so many fights on this map that are ranged, and you're not winning those, even if you trade headshots. That, on the other hand, is just close enough.
Oh. We've said it already. The one guy who has been on, the one guy who has been hitting is Uniton. Picking this round already. Weapon retrieved, but this is the problem. They seem very aware of where the danger is in terms of re-aggression.
They're B-splitting, though. They're B-splitting. That means they're going to bring the spike to Uniton. It's 2 kills. It's a tough task in the flash. Oh, it should seal the deal! What a nice try, though.
Yeah, the fact that he hits the instant shot, it was committing to playing his life. The remaining 2 players don't have much to play with. The headhunter is definitely the biggest threat, but the second we've seen XLG in these sort of post plants, it has been so incredibly difficult for their opponents to get back in. Again, Leo has a shock dart. They have a snake bite as well. They just have post plant utility that is going to make things incredibly difficult. A lead seemingly almost guaranteed unless Autumn can hit some very fast shots, and he's not going to be able to. Happy way in a deep position once again. It's a bit of a costly round for XLG, but with the streak still going, I don't think they'll mind.
Not at all. And there it is. The timeout finally coming in from GE. This is ahead of a very important buy round. You lose here, and XLG guarantee themselves, more or less, they would only be on 6 for the astute counters amongst you, but they would be facing into a light buy. And a good chance to at least win the half, to guarantee the lead. Now, then you add to that XLG, if they get out of this round without using the Viper's Pit with the Hunter's Fury, everything fell apart. That was the round where GE had the advantages, and it's almost unforgivable for me because I think they lost Lotus as a result of the exact same round. It was 5v3, they threw ults at it, they threw themselves at it, but they went one at a time. And that wasn't the only round towards the end that they did that. It was the most egregious because of how it unfolded. For GE, same mistakes being made.
He's tagged.
XLG happy to punish them. Now they move towards the A site in a crucial round with a Viper's Pit for the post plant.
Passive position now from Patman. Had to fall back just in case. It seems like Lysor is at least considering that he could be in this corner. And timing not the best for him, but Patman unable to capitalize. Now he has to move, and Lysor has his number once again. The spam perfect, and he's still dealing death from above. Taking the lead in the kills department. And while there's plenty more going their way in this round for Autumn, he just wants to save, but Lysor is taking over. A pause taken into a buy round, and XLG are flawless.
On the upside, they use their pit. On the downside, they still have the Hunter's Fury. They're close to a run it back. They've got a massive economical advantage, almost guaranteed lead at the halftime. And Lysor looks like his confidence level has shattered through the roof. This is devastating. It's a 2-round gap. It doesn't seem that big of a deal, but 6 out of the last 7 rounds there for XLG. GE were 3-0 up facing an eco. It should have been an easy 4-0 start. Instead, they've stalled out at that number after taking a while to get there. And look at XLG's plan. GE are on an eco. We're going to sit in spawn. And eventually, they'll use their util. Eventually, they might even push us. And then we can just take the round.
At least there's some deep utility, which would give the game away. Drone also been heard. Autumn, this is risky, but it needs to be, and that's a really nice shot. Can he get away? That's the real question. All being revealed. Hunter's Fury being expended at the same time, creating some disparity. And Lysor is genuinely the best player right now by a margin, but the man to challenge him, Yudotan. Those two have been going back and forth in terms of individual brilliance. Nice shot from Happyway, though. And with Autumn so desperately low, 5 health, he'd need to be immediate with his reaction times. Patman yet to find any sort of weaponry, still just with the Sheriff in hand. And Happyway round this corner might not be expected to be so desperately close. In fact, he won't be. It leaves Patman now with a gun in hand, but still 2 players to find, and even utility being expended. They're trying to hit him with the shock darts while vulnerable. All he could really hope for is to create some space, but he will not be able to. Another round, and now the half one as well.
GE came through today after a breakthrough up against Full Sense. Looked like that might have given them the confidence to carry forward, while XLG struggled against a team that they know all too well.
Yes,
It felt like today there were 2 different power levels stepping into the server, and maybe there were at the start. It felt favored to GE, but now the winds of change in full effect. 1 round left in the half. Here on Breeze, XLG have a chance to lead 8-4. And the chance for playoffs looking better than ever.
Bit of spam damage.
It's the worst player to spam, though. A Phoenix who has an ult.
Yeah.
He's going to come right back into that game.
For XLG, the conversation after their victory yesterday was, can they beat anybody other than their own regional rival? Or will they now just bomb straight out of the tournament? And they're looking to really start asking some questions of some teams. Of course, those upper seeds get to choose who they face, and I'm starting to wonder if people won't want to choose them. At times, they're unorthodox, their composition's risky, but they're the ones that make it work. And speaking of risky, just look at this man play. Finally, Patman will put him in the dirt, but there's a second layer every single time. And for Harvey, oh, that one should be free. It almost isn't. 36 health, but he'll get a heal.
1 from Arez.
But look at the position of Raga. Why would you expect him to be here?
The reveal coming from main as well. You're fully locked in on that position. He should cast an eye in this direction, but no. Too focused on main. It will be 8-4. The team who started slow in this series woke up on map 2 and now have a dominant lead in the 3rd. XLG seem to be playoffs bound.
Oh, yeah. After being 3-0 down, it's crazy the way that they brought this back, but we need to find out if they can close it after the break.
Oh, come on, boys! Let's go! Let's go!
And still, considering once, it just feels like the second XLG win around, they're just going to win 5. Like, there needs to be something that brings up the GE players. Otherwise, they will be joining Full Sense on that plane back to Pacific.
Well, this is it. A pistol that carries so much weight. It is essential for GE to find this one. For XLG, 1 step closer to playoffs. Wraparound from Leo is good. He'll get a kill, but it's only the trade out. They've lost Happyway. Javi ready to strike in mid, finds another, but he's now under pressure. Surrounded, and he makes it out. The door is allowing him to slip back to the squad with a man advantage.
Yeah, a powerful post plant.
Great job.
With so many players back towards main, this corner position from Yudotan might not even necessarily be expected. It will, but it doesn't matter. An immediate headshot. This man expected a 2-0, and if it was off his ability, it might have been. He's been having a great game, goes for a little more. At this stage, of course, the clock becomes their greatest friend. Even still, though, they're losing a lot of members all at once. He almost needs to get this done now, and Harvey will keep it in their favor. A much-needed pistol round for GE.
Yeah, probably not the round you want to be winning by 8 HP, but look, a win is a win. And for GE, a much-needed one indeed. Again, this is where they have found the vast majority of their rounds in the first half. 3-0 start. I even remember at 3-0, I said, you know, it just feels like at any point XLG can bounce back. Didn't really think we'd see it in the first half, let alone in the 4th round, but that's going to be in the back of your mind as GE here. Yes, you win the pistol, but every little helps from this point forward. XLG, actually, I mean, Autumn is in a ton of trouble. All 5 players are here. There's a Paranoia ready. He can TP back, but even then, they should be on him.
He's the one player you kind of don't mind being in too much trouble, though. Maybe other than Patman, because the second he hears all those footsteps, stun in to support him, and they could just opt to hightail it in the other direction. And that's exactly what their opponents think. Okay, we have just given away the game on one side of the map. Let's quickly rotate to the other. All 5 players now in mid. Now, as I said, the other sacrificial lamb would be Patman. Only with a pistol. Light shields, not a whole lot to play with. And if he's about to see half the team go through, well, he's taken 3 for it. Fair play. He didn't really need to get too much. It is not going well for Autumn, that's for sure. But all they really lose is a Ghost and a Marshal. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, not going too well for Autumn indeed. 5 and 12 in the chamber. It's a bit of a shaky map for him. Maybe things could change, although you'd expect it on the defense to be where those numbers can be put up. XLG did a great job of avoiding him, and oftentimes it just ripping his head off.
To be fair to Autumn, when they played in the last map, he was very good in the attack. I remember him jumping into angles with the operator, even versus Primi, and he was able to win those fights. I think it's just a confidence thing. He's been having such a rough game that he needs to break back in.
GE looking to break into the A site quite quickly. This is the full buy from XLG. Ops on the other side of the map. Big tag up on a Yudotan. It's risky, it's spooky, as now the Op is the one primed for the fight. A little early on the angle. He doesn't expect them to be that close, but Autumn just ran into him, and they have no idea about Happyway. He gets damage done, but the kills, they need to follow, and they do. At least one, and there's no man's third. He's tagged Crystal through the smoke. And the shock dart close as it may come. Crystal's life has a timer on it, and that timer is ticking. The sands of time running low as Raga will catch him rotating. 9 on the board for XLG. 4 players surviving as well. That's a big money maker round, and no man's on his feet.
For those who don't know, there's a running joke with him that he always gets a 3K. And look at this, the amount of damage he does to the final player.
Leaves him on 5 HP.
It's just, it's crazy. It's genuinely like it's written in the stars. Oh, you know, 4K was taken anyway. Texture's had that title for quite a while, but if he wants to claim the 3K, it genuinely seems like it's written in the stars. His operator taking over, and now in the right place at the right time again. Of course, that was a bonus round for GE. But with the weapons they had, they might have hoped to do a little bit more damage. The operator seemed to maybe blindside them a little bit that it came in so early. It won't again. They're definitely going to know it's here.
Now it's on Autumn to find this space. They've sent the drone to A. It's a weak fake. It hasn't pulled rotations for XLG. It hasn't made them panic. They still have first contact on Happyway for the right side push. Rarga on the angle as well. The double swing will come in just moments after. And Snakebite lands, but well, this is, first of all, Snakebite's a little deep. Autumn can't get back out of there. Patman's on the wrap around, and he's been spotted, but with Happyway down, it feels like a lot of the danger for GE is already gone, and mere seconds later, every other piece falls too.
That was a great round from Autumn. As said, like, he's been having some real struggles, but to go swinging in onto that B site, win the opening fight, and then play through the Poison Orb and find the second, that could breathe some life into the team. Just a small timing on it. And then while Patman finally getting a little bit revenge, catching players on the rotation after being caught throughout the majority of that first half. Again, and another solid start for the side of GE. Can this turn into a victory, or is it going to be the same as the last couple of maps where XLG find their momentum and then the map is theirs?
Well, it seems like XLG's plan this round is to leave that A main hit alone, let them take the space, and instead fight back into mid. Paranoia was being primed by Lysor, but, well, no one's there. GE decide on the slowest play possible, really, from Patman, the man who comes into this round with the Viper's pick. You'd expect him to be with the pack, and instead he sits behind lurking. Now wall goes down. Granted, it's only to cover his cross back through, but he is instead just containing the space behind them. Everyone on site can be content that their back is secure, and that allows them to fight forward with great confidence.
Yeah, important to have him as that backstab. It was something that you mentioned, that he was getting caught on the other side, often by Happyway, and now he's been able to do the same to him. And I think that was what it was about. Like, you have to bear in mind, these teams play each other regularly in their scrims, and so to outmaneuver someone, you're going to have to be smarter. They're going to know some of your tendencies. So playing much deeper, playing off-site with a Viper's Pit, it's a little bit obscure, but it's worked out wonderfully for GE. One round behind. The weaponry going to be much more of an issue in this one for XLG. As whether or not... There you go. It's such an off angle. And if there's more than one player, he's almost definitely dead to rights, but that just feels like a hard read on what his opponents were going to do.
The worrying thing here, as XLG call a timeout, is, again, drawing the comparison of how so many
Pause in this moment, and he's found that moment once again. Of course, it's not going into a buy round, but they do have some interesting pieces on the table. A rifle for No Man, a Hunter's Fury, and even a couple of ults just one away. Okay.
It is definitely a round that GE want to be cautious in. And I say GE, but I don't say Patman. He's been taking risks, even in these rounds. You can go back to Lotus, and go back to Haven. We saw it as well. Some TPs up against the Ecos as well. But his reward is huge. He's gotten himself double doors control. He's pulled the rest of the squad back towards this A site. The Molly's going to slow them down for a moment. The Paranoia, though, this could be deadly from Lysor. He's gotten around that wall, but he won't have enough ammo to finish off the kill. And in fact, it takes a while for Raga, but in goes the Hunter's Fury. It was aimed at Javi, but he survives, and because of that, gets himself a res. Puts this into a 4v2, and again, it was definitely a bump in the road, but it looks like they've weathered the storm.
It's a good chance as well that
Patman's
Patman's position's not going to be expected. It doesn't matter, though. No Man will win the fight, but with Happyway still just down to the classic. A wraparound even coming in from behind if he was to get anything. And it seems like the goal is maybe to just try and retrieve the rifle, but that's easier said than done. 9-9. GE's fight back continues as they will level up and get themselves onto the same score. However, this is where the pause was for. And honestly, this got a little bit dangerous. I think if it wasn't for Javi having just the reactions to put himself up on the wall, he's probably dead. And then that Hunter's Fury might have eliminated half of their team.
Well, honestly, if the Hunter's Fury is tucked in a little bit behind that corner, I think he gets the kill onto Javi as well. That would have stopped the res from coming in. Never mind the man advantage. They would have been neck and neck, and XLG would have had a chance to get some rifles. It is worrying with how things have gone before, but as you said, the pause was for this round. XLG come into the previous, and they do a pretty good job in the brawls. This flash, oh, it's not a pretty flash. It hasn't made it around the corner. Ult's gonna be popped though, and a chance for Raga going in through the wall of Udaton. And he has sent the entire attacking side out of A main. They have no space elsewhere on the map either, and the trap's gonna be broken. And I think even worse, they think Lysor's there. They must have heard the TP. Thank God they were spamming it.
Look at some of the control, though, in the defenders' positions. They've got deep presence towards B. They've got deep presence towards mid. They're definitely not playing afraid at this stage of the map, even after losing a streak of rounds. And by the looks of it, Raga thought, well, you know, the last flash was so good, I'm going to attempt this one again. 40 seconds up and coming on the clock, and a lot of this feels like Patman is a huge part of this one. They might be looking to try and hunt him down.
30 seconds left.
The fact that he avoided the fight, he thinks that they've just left him as an unaccounted for factor, but Patman back turn to Happyway. It's an easy pickup now. The push out to site under heavy threat. 15 seconds. The plant needs to be found fairly soon, and there's more than enough players here to cover every angle. No man with 2. No 3K this time, but a flawless round for XLG is just as good.
Man, every time we see the Voya take a pause, there's impact. Every single time. The trap setup to start it off with the run it back. The aggression into mid just to wait for Patman. He has been annoying. They have been caught by him multiple times, so they don't flank through the spawn. They just hold their positions. Much more patient. And even No Man just waiting in case they were to go back to B. But once they had the information, cross through, they hold that ground. And they punish Global Esports. Of course, though, Global Esports have been getting a lot of rounds streaked together. Plenty of economy to buy into this one. Tour de Force even going to help out a little more. And Mitch, they've got the ults.
Exactly at the safety nets. Maybe needed. It's double digits for XLG. They'd left B decently open, but the rotate back in from Happyway now 1 away from a Viper's Pit as well. The drones almost perfectly in sync coming out from both sides, but that mid space that was just cleared by XLG, they don't know that Patman is they do know. They very much do know that Patman is flying under the radar. He is being caught for free, and now man advantage for XLG.
I genuinely wonder if that was part of the pause hunt to try and find that man. The spam's doing so much damage. Autumn was waiting for the right moment, and it never quite came. Already, that overdrive is going to be pulled into play, but you have to bear in mind it ticks away pretty quickly. Bladestorm also thrown in, a lot of ultimates into the round, but Crystal's late position is going to help out a little bit. Losing teammates on the other side, he has to try and expend that Hunter's Fury, and he will be able to do some damage, a lot of damage in fact. Shotstop might just clear it instead. He's found the teammate, and there is Crystal again! Another Red Bull clutch to add to the collection.
Oh, this guy came to London in the zone. I don't know what they're putting in Crystal's coffee, but this guy, a Red Bull clutch found here, and it's certainly not the first big round we've seen from him. Again, every series has had a map where he is by far the best player, but outside of that, in every map, he's had these rounds, he's had these moments, and that keeps us even. That keeps GE in with a chance. The Viper's Pit right away from Happyway towards this B site. But there's 3 players looking to fight A main on XLG. Meanwhile, the wrap is coming around. GE have got a ton of space. Patman's been picked off right away. You can see XLG are wary of this Leo. They'll caught with his bow and arrow out. It's not a favorable fight. The spam good from Lysor to at least trade it back. And it looks like the rest of the team is so far behind. But at least a trade from Autumn will keep this competitive.
Spike spotted in middle, and because No Man's gone down, it's an immediate response from, well, both sides of the map. Happyway falls out of his pit, knows he could be surrounded, and the other players have then got aggressive in towards A main. Now, it does mean that there's a pretty hefty opening on the B side. It looks like their decision is to just try and play this one as a retake, use that man advantage in their favor. But it's very slow from GE. They are expecting there to be someone implemented. There has been all the way through the map. Whenever they rotate, there is someone in an aggressive position. And this is one of the first times that there isn't.
Yeah, in fact, Happyway gave up the Viper's Pit. He dropped it and then just fell back to the spawn. He's covering off this mid push, making sure no one comes through there. And if you know they haven't come that way and they're not in A main, it's pretty easy to guess where they might be. The only problem is the chamber trip's still behind. The smoke, though, going to cover it off. Half covering. They're able to sneak their way past. This is huge for Lysor, but he won't catch the plant. And now Autumn, he's looking back. He's worried about the window. No, in fact, he's worried that they've done exactly this, that they've made it past his trap, but the bait is beautiful. Rarga drew his eye and has left Crystal in need of another gigantic play. That spray looked good. Lysor's alive on 5 HP. But Crystal might still have done enough. The spike, though, being defused as we speak. The man with 5 health, the man who survived the battle with Crystal just moments ago! Sticks it right around the corner. 11 for XLG. And that's gotta hurt. That's gotta sting. It looked like Lysor was dead to rights.
Well, this is the problem. Go back to the last map when the streak continued. Who was there? Lysor. Look at this map. 24 and 14. There's been impact players throughout, but he has been the guy. And if they are to make it into the playoff stage,
It looked like he was going to play with a stinger. Thank God. He's gotten a drop. He's got himself a Phantom. Back in the driver's seat, you would hope, for GE. Or this will be an event that they will be quick to forget.
Wow. A few sleepless nights might disagree with you with how some of these rounds have gone, but it's both teams on the edge of making it to playoffs or making it onto the next flight home. Run it back. Available. Happy way. He's just going to catch Yudaton. He tries to be a hero and instead has gone down immediately. The judge still up close, still causing issues. The trade-out should be there, but he's still got a teammate to play with. Crystal, though, has got 2 in a second. It would have to be an ace. 3 players were still on the other side of the map. They maybe thought that those 2 could do some damage, but they've almost won the round alone.
Chance to make this to 12 for XLG. Started this series down a map, needing the reverse sweep. And Crystal has been the man that's caused so many headaches for them. But look how patient they are. Where GE were in the lead on Lotus and they made some individual mistakes. They were a little ambitious in the fights they took. Well, it's a different story from XLG. They took in, they played together, and they win together 12-10. 2 chances for XLG to eliminate Global Esports. 2 chances for XLG to make it to playoffs.
We're down on the previous map and needed a mass streak of rounds, which they got. They've been down in this second half as well, with GE again seemingly finding that momentum, but once more, Avoya takes a pause. The game turns on its head, and now the pressure is all on Global Esports. It looked like they came into this game as the favorites, eliminating Full Sense on their journey while XLG took down DRG. And now it all comes down to this. Happy way, well placed, and he's taken out 3! That might just be the end. Crystal alongside Autumn, who's already down to 10. He's already gone, and now Crystal with the most impossible clutch of the lot to keep Global Esports in the tournament. They know exactly where he is. Revealed, blinded, spammed, and eliminated. It is XLG that go marching on to the playoffs, and GE will be heading